What to do when you have a busy mind and your body's tired, depleted, and maybe you have some aches and pains and you're having a hard time feeling your presence, feeling your connectedness to all that is. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, my name is Cathy Baumann, and my work is all about living everyday life as the facet of creator that you are, the facet of source, of the universe, the bigger being or the true being that you are and always have been, beyond this small self. And the more we go into this, it really comes through presence. And so I share a lot about being in presence, feeling your presence. And still, for me, I always need to come back to the basics in life, human life, everyday life as creator is going to bring challenges and new situations, new scenarios. Sometimes you need to get busy in life and use your mind and be analytical. And during those times, your presence may not be as felt, as permeating, right? Because your focus goes elsewhere. So whether you are someone who has been living in a state of presence, isness, beingness, wide awake for many years as to who or what you are beyond this human experience, or if you are someone who, like many people I've spoken to, have said, I just can't seem to quiet the mind, or feel like it has power over me, or I need to take some time and get silent, be present. Wherever you're at, this video is for you. It applies to all. Again, when life gets busy and hectic and I feel my own state of beingness is not quite as rich and deep and easy, what happens is, and I will say, when your mind is busy, when you're off in the mind, you're scattered in the past, future, other situations, or you're feeling the pressures of life and it has you focused on being very active, very physical, maybe very mental, then what happens to all of us is it affects your body. So when you're not in that state of presence as much, it affects your physical health. Your body is constantly regenerating when you're in presence and silence. You can feel it. And that's the key that I'm going to get to, is feeling. The event that I've been doing for years is called Breathe and Feel. And if you can go through life like that, you've got it made. Because not only does this state of beingness have your body constantly regenerating to where it regenerates and then it maintains a level of homeostasis, if you've got physical things going on, it will regenerate. I've had many ailments, we'll call it, or diagnoses years ago that have cleared up. And this is how I've done it, going back to the basics. It's very simple, very direct. Sometimes maybe the mind thinks a little too simple, right? So when we are off thinking and the mind is off in stories and we're not here feeling our presence in a state of feelingness and awareness, call it silence, call it stillness. There's many different names for this. Of course, it doesn't mean thoughts don't come through, but you're so expanded through them, you can pick and choose, and they mostly just die off. The energy of it sort of dissolves away, and then you have very few thoughts that run through your mind. But when you are in a state of thinkingness and you're energizing the thoughts because you're going off into them, what happens is your presence, rather than being all expanded through the body without a focal point, without a tunnel vision, I'll call it, Now, let's say you have stuff in life that you've really been thinking about. Maybe it's planning for the future, maybe it's work, maybe it's what's going on in the world, family, friends, whatever. So now you're taking this expansive presence of you, all this energy, and you're funneling it into something, okay? So you're directing your energies into something. And you're sort of focusing it in, squeezing it in. And that's why you'll notice your body is not so much in that state of parasympathetic nervous system. The body becomes more tense, more contracted. Of course, this affects all your organs. The nervous system is just innately connected to all of your health, right? So the whole physicality responds. You tend to get stiff, sore, aches and pains. Maybe for you, it's all different. Maybe it's your sleep, maybe it's your digestion, whatever. But it affects your physical health. Doesn't mean you can't do this from time to time, but it is learning, well, we'll say to master this awareness and the energies and to where you are ideally, for me, it is always to be in a state of physical health, optimal health. So you get this tunnel vision, and now your energy is sort of funneled out of your body and the now moment and the expansiveness of where you're at right here, right now, into these other things, okay? Into, you call it other dimensions. This is sort of like your multidimensionality, except you're splitting your awareness off from here and now, and you're pushing it out into another dimension, we'll call it, rather than breathing and welcoming the rest of you back here and now and feeling your expansiveness and being able to maybe take ideas, new creations, things going on, and feel yourself fully in the body while doing that. So you might notice sometimes you're not really aware that much of being in your body. So your energy is not fully serving your health. And that's what we're going to talk about shifting today. And the other thing I want to note is when you do this, and now you're thinking and thinking and thinking, the mind in and of itself is an entity, right? And it has energies. And you are feeding this past, present, other place, all these stories. And so you're energizing them. You keep fueling them. It's like every day you're sticking a little more gas into the tank. And they pick up steam, they pick up energy, they grow. And so there's a momentum that is created. Now, if you're at a point where you are saying, all right, my body's not feeling so great, I'm feeling scattered, because mentally you're going to be quite scattered with all of this. I'm not feeling relaxed in my body, connected to all of life. I'm ready to change this. Just be aware that it doesn't change on a dime. It's not like, all right, I'm going to go get a session and poof, it's gone. This is you rewriting your whole body of consciousness, rewriting your mind, your brain, two different things, all the cells of your body, your DNA, you're rewriting all your neural pathways, you're creating new habits, new ways of living. And so it takes some time, some linear time. You can come into the now, into the present right now. Just take a breath. Feel your presence, and you're here. But that momentum, just be aware it's going to keep going and going. So it takes some persistence and some commitment and patience and follow through to slow it down. So, how do we do that? How do we shift from being scattered and feeling funky to feeling connected to everything in a state of, well, it's like a never ending now, which is very relaxing because there's no hurries. There's nowhere to go because it's always just now. No pressures. And let's start with the pressure then. So, first of all, again, whether you've been doing this for decades or this is new to you, it works for everyone. This is the most direct, simple thing that has worked for me. And let's start with the pressure. The pressures in life. Maybe it's from your family, your friends, your own expectations of yourself. You're feeling the energies in the outside world, the mass consciousness. Just happens to be election day here in the United States, so there's a lot of wild energies in the mass consciousness, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. At least, you know, it's not going to be gone in a year, 5 years. It's slowly evolving into so much more lightness, and it's perfectly evolving. So the the thing with all the pressures, stresses, worries, concerns, it all comes from the small self, right? The personality self, not really your universal beingness. It's not coming from your presence, your divine wisdom. And it really is about feeling this true, deeper, endless self that you are, who you truly are. So the first step is to break energy with all the other stuff, your own ideas, concepts, beliefs. Everything out there that I've just covered, it all boils down to beliefs. Beliefs about who you are, beliefs about the world, life and death, call it judgments, call it fears, all kind of one and the same. And with that knowingness, that no belief is ultimately true. No fear, no judgment is ultimately true. You could say, Cathy's wearing a white sweater. Well, that's not a judgment. That's just a observation. That just is. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It's not anything anchored in with concrete. Now you could say, Cathy, she doesn't look so great in white. Okay, well, that's a judgment. And you could say, oh, it's a lovely, lovely sweater. And you could say, well, that is true. Not to probably, if this was made of, if it was a cat fur sweater, I'll bet the cat wouldn't think it was so lovely. So every belief, judgment, opinion is only true to the person who states it or based on a certain relativity or within a certain context. So again, there is no ultimate truth to any beliefs, any judgment, any opinions. Ultimately, everything can be disproved, argued with. So we just go totally and completely and fully beyond belief, beyond argument, beyond having to be right about anything, prove anything. It's really letting go of the whole idea of this small self, understanding that this reality, as beautiful and wild and strange as it is really just call it a simulation. How does everything seem solid? It's a whole, it's a, I mean, Cleo's tale feels real, but this somehow is constructed of perceptional beliefs, creating this perceptional reality that we see as real through a mind. It's fantastic. But of course, it is really important to stay anchored into that knowingness that ultimately this is not ultimate reality. Once your body dies, you're not done. There's reality beyond this. So it's just one little reality that we're seeing through this lens right now. Now, once we're really aware of that, what can you do? I want this to be actionable, and I love action steps, a to-do, a thing that you can do throughout your day. Let's say you, like me, have a busy life. This isn't for, let's just say I found it easy when I was home not working for a long time or working very little, it was a lot easier to stay clear. And sometimes you do need to pull away from and most of us who've gone through this have had moments, years maybe, where we have sort of extracted ourselves from the physical world in order to clear out, feel our own essence, our beingness, expand, and really anchor in that state of presence. And so if that's where you're at, that's fabulous. Eventually, you become so full, so radiant, there is a draw. And of course, I'm always saying, make me an instrument. This body is a conduit of source. I'm an instrument. Let's put Cathy's opinions aside and show me what I would love, because that mind has only ever been taught certain things. It doesn't know what's available. It only knows what it's been conditioned with or seen in the world. And there's so much more. And as we are creating here in a new energy, creating this new earth, we're bringing in more light, creating new potentials. I want to be open, always to be shown, and really not to be limited by the beliefs, the ego, the fears, things like that. So being aware that, and really honest, and I'm going to call it, there's a sincerity that you need to, okay, I hand this over to my true self, because I know that the ego is tricky. Okay, it might trick you into thinking, oh, this is my earthly mission. And in fact, it's got a little bit of an agenda, of a human agenda. And there's no shame in that. It's just about always being willing to be shown more than what the mind has known. So if you're there, let's go into what you can do today to keep getting clearer, to stay clearer, and to really become more vibrant. So let's take a breath. As we're talking about this, it always starts with a deep breath, everything. First, step one, take a deep breath. Feel your presence. Feel, just feel. So if you're somebody who says, I don't feel my presence, I can't feel it, you are feeling it. Just feel. Do you feel something, anything? You're feeling. That is the key. I do the breathe and feel event, and a lot of times I say, breathe and feel, don't think. Just breathe and feel, don't think. And it's kind of funny because you'll hear from time to time people getting sort of up in arms, like, you can't fight your thoughts, or, you can't stop the thoughts. You don't have to stop them. You just don't think them, okay? So take a breath and feel. And then when the mind tries to pull you out, you just take a breath and you watch it, and you don't go down the rabbit hole. Or when the thoughts come through, or when you catch yourself in a rabbit hole, oops, where did I go? Deep breath and feel. And you can feel your breath flowing literally. And this is the most simple, important thing I'm going to say in this whole video. So write it down, or do like I used to do, write it on your hand. I had postcards everywhere. You cannot feel and think at the same time. So if you're feeling, you're not thinking. So literally, if you want one thing, just one thing to do, it's just feel, 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 feel. And when the mind's off, oh, take a deep breath, feel. Oh, deep breath, feel, just come back to feel. That is it. If you did this and this alone, it will change. I promise you. If you do this consistently and you do it relentlessly, it will change your life, your energy, your mind, how you feel in a body. You will feel an expansion opening up within you. Just feel, don't think. So now, I'm not always 100% in this. And recently, I've been working a job in the community here, a coaching job, for 6 months, full time. And after a decade of mostly, working very little and clearing out and doing little jobs, what I've learned is that it's really cool to be able to be in this state of beingness, and then you can start moving with it more. You can start doing more with it. And then when you feel it slipping away, oh yeah, okay, back to the basics. Just breathe and feel. Because if you're in a busy setting, let's say you're at work and there's people talking, I will use my job, for example. I have deadlines, reports to do, meetings, emails. There's a lot of analytical work. You're trying to word and reword things. I have to write up case notes and document things and try to be very unbiased when I do it. And it's like a mental drain. And so my energy goes, and then I can feel it in my body. So taking on this challenge, though, has been perfect for me, considering my passion is, again, the work I do, living everyday life as creator. It has really complemented me. It's benefited me as it does you to step by step go back into the world more and more and more, merging this new state of beingness into like an everyday life. I have kids, I have family, friends, work. And at one point, I thought I'm just going to have to hide away and live in a cave because I'm so sensitive and I seem to absorb all the energies in the world. And then now, you know, I'm 10 years later pulling out tricks from a decade ago, going, oh, I'm going to come back to this, which working a busy job over the last 6 months, I have come back to some of my basic training, I'll call it. I'm going to say always be open to going back to the basic things that helped you, whether it's 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. As you're expanding more and more into life, it's like sometimes like a rebirth, like we got to go back and revisit these things that are so simple and profound. So, I've been reviewing some things that I didn't do for a long time. So I want to share another tip with you because I'm going to call this equally as important. The first part, breathe and feel, don't think. That's number one. Now that you can do anywhere. You might start lying down a lot, sitting down a lot, eyes closed. If you haven't done much meditation or really feeling your presence, you might do it when you're walking, where you are out in nature, places where you can really keep focusing on you, keep feeling, keep coming back to you and not get pulled away. And then little by little, you can take that into more and more activities. Maybe it's driving, washing the dishes, cleaning your house, doing your laundry. You're in that presence, that awareness. Now, for me, I've been taking it into work more and more, from part-time outside job to full-time. And now you take it into connecting with people. While you're talking to somebody, you're aware of your awareness while you're working on the computer. Now, what happens when we get into the outside world and we're maybe in a meeting at work or with friends or family? What happens to that presence? Just think about it for you for a moment. Where does it go? Where do you get pulled out? Because that's important to notice that. Where do you stop feeling yourself? And maybe you start thinking because you're thinking about what to say or what to do or planning for the next thing. So identifying this is really important because this is where you want to catch yourself. And the second tip, okay, so you're going to catch yourself, going back to this one, and basically taking a breath and relaxing and feeling. But there's a pressure, there's a thing, a fear, a concern, a worry that is pulling you. It's pulling on you or pushing on you. So be aware of that, because are you going to give it your power? Just make a commitment. I'm not going to let this pull me out of presence again. Okay. That's really important, just to identify where it happens and say, no more. It's not worth it. I don't care if Aunt Susie is going to judge me for my life choices. Judge me all you want. No argument, whatever it is that you need to clarify within yourself. But the other part is there are energies there. You're going into different energy fields. When I go into the energy field at work, I feel pressure. I feel like I want to get in there. I want to get the job done. I want to make my deadlines. I want to do a good job, and I want to. So I'm feeling this. I'm really feeling this because it exists in this location as well as in the mass consciousness, as well as it's an old pattern that I had at work in my corporate job 20, 30 years ago. So it's like hopping into an old, it's like riding a bike. It's like, oh, I remember this. I remember how this goes. Go, 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 do, try to get everything scheduled, get it all done. I want to meet my deadlines. And it can be very seductive. Yeah, it is very seductive if you have those old energy patterns that are like putting on an old pair of shoes, okay? But we want new shoes. We want like like there's no place like home, like click your heels together, the bright ruby slippers. So the next tip I'm going to share is just to break energy. So you can do the figure eight, which is what my facilitator taught me. But there's, before I worked with him, I worked with, I don't know, dozens of other facilitators, and there's all different systems. It doesn't matter what system, what you do. There's no need to follow any system, any rules, any protocols, because you can just do what works for you. So like the figure eight would be you put yourself in one side of the figure eight, and then you put the whole world in the other side, and the loop is in between, and nothing can come through. That energy can't come through. You're consciously saying, I want this outside of me. So whether it's your family, friends, the whole world, energies of work, put it outside of you. The important part of this is you are a conscious creator. You move energies. You choose which energies to embody and which energies to say, no, that doesn't work for me. Now, emotions are going to come up out of your body. Don't fight them. Don't deny them. When emotions move through or energies move through, that is what it is. I'm talking about choosing what to take in and embody, what you're creating. So when you're feeling anything, pressure, blah, 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 you can just put it outside of you. Now, one thing I used to do was I'd send my mind to Pluto a lot when I'd lay down or I'd breathe or I'd walk. I don't want any of these stories here, my own egoic personalities, aspects, stories. And I'd even toss the whole world to Pluto. You can do anything you want. And playing with your creativity is important because you are creator in human form. So this is art, this is expression, this is playing with your natural abilities. So make it fun. You can just use a figure eight and put the whole business, if you work for a business, or your whole family, if it's your family or your friends, or you could put the mass consciousness in there. Maybe it's politics that bugs you. Put it in there. You're saying, I don't want this in my energy field. It's not mine. I want to feel my presence, my light beingness, my beingness. And that's more important to me. You get to choose, you prioritize. So you move it out there. I like to see it in my mind's eye, like getting really, really small, far away, and then take a breath. Open up, breathe and feel. Just feel, just feel. Welcome your essence. Welcome your presence to merge through. I welcome my creator self, my creator light beingness to merge through every cell of this body and make me an instrument. Speak through me, steer me. Take command of my life, guide me. And you could call it universe as a whole. Create through me. That's your I am presence beyond the little worrier. And this keeps you out of the tunnel vision of the mind with its agendas and its goals and its ways that it's got to be and what it thinks it's got to do to achieve what it wants to achieve or whatever. And it keeps you wide open and feeling. And when you're feeling, now you feel your way through life. You know this direction. Ah, this is a yes. I feel it. You know this opportunity over here, this idea, this invitation. Oh, no, that's not for me. I feel it. That's a no. When you're feeling your way through life, now you are feeling the energy of everything. It is the underlying construct of everything, is the energy of it. And your body knows what is a yes for you and what is a no for you. And so now you've got this connection to your wisdom, to the wisdom, not your wisdom, not like Cathy's wisdom, because I'm going to say Cathy's wisdom as the character here in this human form. I'm going to call that more limited to my conditioning, beliefs, everything I've seen, everything I've memorized, everything that I've experienced, even it, as this human, even everything I've experienced as a soul, as a souled being, all lifetimes. But do I just want that wisdom of all my past lives? No. So I don't want to be limited to what I have experienced. I want to go beyond and say creation, creator, life, source, universe. I am. Show me what else is available. Show me what I don't know to ask for. Um, okay, now I'm going to feel, oh, this is a yes. Why am I going here? I don't always know. Half the time I go, okay, we're doing this. I say yes, I do it, and I don't honestly really know exactly why. And that is the space where we live in our mastery in as creator. Creator doesn't say, I'm going to create this animal and they're going to chase that animal. Creation is spontaneous. It's why humans have had free will. So when you're able to be in that space, in that place of this is a yes, and you can follow it without having to control the outcome and know the outcome, now you're living in flow, in co-creation, rather than fear and control. And now you can flow with life. You can allow source to flow through your body. Your presence is open and expanded. And you allow source to create through you because you are a facet of the creative source. You're an expression of it. So we've been living in such a strange, strange way. Mental, analytical, yesterday, tomorrow, not even here in our body. Isn't that crazy? And yet, for me, uh, consistently all these years, I've been bringing more activity into my life, more involvement, engagement with the outside world, so I can keep integrating this knowingness and this mastery into living an even more full life. So I'm able to really live life to the fullest. And I always say I'm just scratching the surface because every quantum leap, it's like, oh wow. And then it's like, oh gosh, that was nothing. But it seems like a lot. And the reason it seems like so much is, and maybe this will be extra kind of inspiration beyond beyond this natural way of living, more in our natural, true beingness, beyond that, totally improving your health. You feel your presence 24/7, a loving, warm embrace, an underlying flow of knowingness that all is well, that you're loved, an underlying feeling of connection to everybody, an underlying feeling of like everyone's your family, sort of. Like you just like everyone, and for the most part, even really annoying people. I'm just telling you, there's a sense of you still really feel a love and an appreciation for everyone, everything. Now, there's things without reason. I'm not going to say I really appreciate mosquitoes, even though I know that they do a good thing. But there's just a feeling of inner fulfillment. You can't buy that. You can't manufacture it. Nobody can sell it. Nobody can control it. But the outside world, I'm going to call it the mass consciousness, we'll say those who have insisted and been really adamant on trying to control people's consciousness through fear, there is a boost of power in being able to control people's consciousness. So I'll encourage you to be aware of that and not give your consciousness over to duality, to live in presence and beingness. It is incredible inner fulfillment when you don't have to pick sides, be polarized, be right or wrong. Let everyone be right, since nothing is real anyway. Nothing is real. None of the beliefs are real. So go ahead, fight amongst yourselves. I'll just be over here feeling my presence, feeling loved and embraced from the inside out. So that is a huge why, to just feel good. And that's when you live from that space, it doesn't matter so much how much money you have or where you go or what you do. That's like the foundation for everything. And I always feel like, I certainly feel like that's something I want to share with people, that you have access to this. We all do. Doesn't matter where you're at. But we'll go back to the beginning. It takes persistence. It takes commitment to you, commitment to, knowing that you deserve to feel good, to feel who you are, to connect who you are, if you so desire that. And I assume you do because you listened to this video today. So I really wanted to share that because I myself have gone through going back into this really busy life again, working more than full time with my website and then the outside job, and having to go back to the basics. Oh gosh, I have to start breaking energy at work. So all day through work, it's like, all right, put the world outside, even put the energy of the work itself, the job itself outside of me, feel my presence. Oh, it's tempting to hurry up or to whatever, get sucked into energy streams, doing that, going, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. And I didn't really break energy for a lot of years. So, remembering that we have these tools and these capabilities, and then ultimately breathe and feel, don't think. And I'll admit, I think I got a little cavalier the last year. And I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. And just going off to work. And then pretty soon I'm like, yeah, I noticed my skin is kind of getting weird. I feel very aged. I think I aged 10 years in the last 6 months. And my shoulder was getting tight. So I had some stiffness come back in my shoulder. And I was feeling worn out and just overwhelmed for, just like a month or two ago. So it took a lot of months for it to really kind of catch up. And then I went, oh, I actually have to like go back. And so I've been taking time the last couple months. I canceled my website events, just clearing out. I took every Friday off in October. I used personal time. And I'm like, and this is an important point for me. So you can ask yourself this question. What is the most important thing for you? What is really most important to you in your life? That's a big question. What really matters to you? For me, it's that 24/7 connectedness to, of, and as myself, being that through the world, not being sucked into anything less. And you could call it being the love that I am, the light that I am, getting to feel, be, express, create of and as the source that I am, creator, unconditional love. I mean, there's really nothing that I do that's worth sacrificing that. That's worth sacrificing my health, my physical well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being, because when I'm feeling clear, all of that is in beautiful alignment. And so it's really what's most important, my life, the quality of my life. So thank you for joining me today. Again, it's election day, Tuesday, November 5th here when I'm recording this in beautiful Wisconsin, USA. And we do have a Breathe and Feel this coming Monday. If you would like to join me, it's a beautiful experience that I create with everyone who signs up. And I guide you through breath and presence and relaxation so that you can really open up and expand through your body, feel your presence, feel that essence that you are, expanding beyond the mind, disengaging from the world, and letting your body do some lovely recalibration and rejuvenation, letting everything rebalance for you. And then I think the following Friday, we also have a creators call. So if you hear this soon, and if you ever would like assistance with any of this, I do one-on-one sessions every week with folks who are also living everyday life as creator. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.